Familiar commands in Windows PowerShell. One reason why those who are new to Windows PowerShell but who have used the command.exe scripting environment before can get confused is because PowerShell includes support of many of your favorite shell commands. Know that under the hood, though, those are simply shortcuts or aliases to PowerShell commandlets. In other words, to repeat this for like the 100th time, when you're in PowerShell and you do some things like dir for a directory listing, cd to change your location, move, ren, del, copy, type, mkdir, etc., you're not actually running internal DOS commands. Instead, you're referencing aliases. An alias is a shortcut. In Windows, you know how you can create a shortcut icon on your desktop that maps to a folder that may be deep on your C drive? Well, similarly, in Windows PowerShell, we have these aliases, many of which are all pre-created for us that ship with PowerShell, that translate your friendly command names to what they're actually running, which are honest-to-goodness commandlets. So you see, when you do a dir, you're actually running getChildItem under the hood. When you're doing copy, it's actually copyItem. And the PowerShell team, I've listened to a lot of the founders like Jeffrey Snover and Bruce Payette. I've listened to them talk about their methodology when they developed PowerShell. They really deep dove or deep dived, whatever the correct English is for that, into Linux, Unix, OS X and really concentrated what are the most popular commands in these environments. And they made sure to do aliases that mapped to those commands. A lot of these on this slide actually come from the Linux Unix world, like ls for directory listing, cat when you want to display the content of a file on screen, cp for copy. So these aliases allow you to bridge the gap between what you already know in your shell environment, your OS shell environment, to Windows PowerShell. So from that perspective, they're really cool. You can actually add parameters to them as well. So any parameter that getChildItem uses, for instance, getChildItem has a parameter called filter, where you could search, for instance, for files that match a particular type, like text files. So instead of doing getChildItem filter, you could actually do dir filter star.txt, you see, because under the hood this is being translated. What that also means, though, is that you can't do something like this. If you're comfortable with using dir in an OS shell environment, you've probably used /w or /s. Those aren't going to work because those switches are not PowerShell. Those are strictly for cmd.exe. So that's why I'm stressing this, is because these are common points of confusion for PowerShell newcomers, and I want to get you over that hump as efficiently as possible. Now you notice in the screenshot below I've run getAlias, and I've piped that to sortObject. Pipe is a way to take the output of one command, feed it into the next command. I think of the PowerShell pipeline literally as conduit pipes under your sink, for instance, where you have a piece of pipe with a connector that links up to the next segment and goes on from there. That's actually the metaphor that's being used here in Windows PowerShell. And so this particular pipeline retrieves all the aliases on the system and sorts them alphabetically, evidently by name, as you see, because the command type is the same for all of them. And you can do this on your system right now if you want to, and you can preview. Look here, CLS. I use that all the time in cmd.exe. I have for years. It's actually doing clear host. Now, does that mean you can run clear host directly? Absolutely, you can do that if you want to.